What's going on, guys? This is Mia. Since I realized I haven't made a Blackwing video in a while, and with Darkwing Blast being right around the corner, I felt like it was a good idea to revisit it, kind of make it even more competitive and more tournament ready, maybe for regionals or even YCSs. So today I will be bringing you guys what I personally believe might be the most competitive way to play Blackwings right now in 2022. So I'll be showing you guys 4 combos on how to properly play this deck, as well as a deck profile that will also be kind of catered to beat the meta, especially Tearlaments. So before this video starts, again, it's the package deal of combo and deck profile. Make sure you smash the like button and most importantly the subscribe button, the juiciest one out of all of them, my man. And if this video can get to 1,000 likes, I will be making a live stream on this deck. And now let's get right into it. Alright, so combo number 1, if you just have Simoon and any other Blackwing, it literally doesn't matter which one it is. Look at what you can do. It's actually kind of nice, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna be going Simoon, pitch the other Blackwing, normal summon the Simoon, and get your Black Whirlwind, which is gonna be searching your Suthri. And then you'll be going normal summon Suthri and then normal summon the Black Whirlwind. The reason why you can normal summon twice, it's kind of like, you know, the true Draco continuous spell cards, the additional normal summon, but not really. It's like you immediately normal summon, so it's kind of like the same concept. It's not really like the Gem Knight Seraphinite normal summon, because those kind of extra normal summons, you can only gain them once per turn. Simoon is different. Nothong is kind of like that though. So you're going to be searching your Vata with the Black Whirlwind and the Jamal with the Suthri. And of course you can discard the Jamal to search, well, rather activate your Black Feather Whirlwind. It's not the Black Whirlwind, so it's another one. This one, instead of searching, you're going to be reviving back monsters. However, it is a soft once per turn, and because of the fact that it's soft and not hard, you can use it twice if you can bounce it back with Blackwing Zephyros with the Elite, which is actually not too bad. So now you're going to be special summoning the Vata the Knave and use its effect, so pitch 2 monsters from the deck to the grave, which will be the Zephyros as well as the Chinook to summon Blackwing the Dragon. And you are now going to be reviving back the Vata with the Black Feather Whirlwind, synchro summon for Nothong, and now you're going to be going Chainlink 1 Nothong, burn your opponent for 800, and then Chainlink 2 Jamal, recycle back your Suthri, and of course time has been called at this point, so what a coincidence, you win the game. Now anyways, extra normal summon, so normal summon number 3 in 1 turn with like 1 card is going to be Suthri again, get double searches. So Black Whirlwind is going to search you for Orochi, and your Suthri is going to be searching this card right there, the Twin Shadow. Very, very good card. So at this point, even if you get Nibiru'd, at least you have the Orochi to use on your opponent's turn, so you're still going to have some form of way to interact with your opponent. But if your opponent doesn't have Nibiru, look at what you can do. So Zephyros bounce back the Black Whirlwind, because on the end phase, Simoon would make it go to the graveyard, and that's kind of like undesirable. So if we bounce it back with Zephyros, it's just not going to go to the graveyard. So that way, not only do you don't take the 1000, but also you don't lose this precious card, which is very, very, very broken in Blackwing. It's like a searcher that's not once per turn, and that actually stacks. So having multiple Black Whirlwinds is like insane. At this point, you're going to be making this card right there, Volo, the Doom Original Vassal Dragon. The name changed to like Wallow or something. Ice Wallow, I get it, it's such a bad one. It's a rank 6 monster. Basically, you can either detach 1 or 2 materials, and then target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard. So if you detached 1, you shuffle back the card into the deck, and if you detach 2, the effect is actually really similar to Toad. So if it's a monster, you revive it back on your field, or you set it, and if it's a spell or trap, you set it. So that's actually really cool, and it's a great way to interrupt your opponent's plays if they're playing, let's say, Tearlaments, for example, so this is great against them. And of course, we are summoning the Orochi the Squall, so we have a level 1 tuner and a level 8 non-tuner Dragon Dark Synchro monster on the field. Do you know what that does? It makes your boy Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. So this is interruption number 2. And of course, we have Evil Storm Nightmare, which is going to be interruption number 3 and 4, because it is a double Book of Moon whenever your opponent special summons a monster. Actually, it's a special summon a monster or monsters. So pendulums actually lose big time to that. So if you're playing against, let's say, Draco Slayer, they will not be happy against Evil Storm Nightmare, and this card is remarkably good against Satrila Fenrir. So do not sleep on Evil Storm Nightmare. It's very, very, very good. It seriously deals with that card very well. And then you're going to be setting your Twin Shadow, and on your opponent's turn, you're going to see how we can interrupt your opponent very well. So again, you already know that these are 4 interruptions, but the Twin Shadow is actually 2 interruptions, so that's why it's 6 interruptions in total. So whatever, our opponent gets a couple of searches, blah blah blah, no big deal. And then I will be going Twin Shadow, shuffle back 2 monsters from the banished or graveyard into the deck whose total level equal 10, 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner. Sorry, level 8, not 10. 10 would make Full Armor Master, level 8 would make Silverwing the Ascendant, and on Synchro Summoned, even though this looks like a special summon, it's technically considered as a Synchro Summon. You can target 2 face-up monsters on the field whose defense are lower than this card's attack. So in other words, if they're defense is 28, lower than 2800 attack, you can destroy them. So it's a double pop, which is very, very good. And on top of that, your Black Feather Whirlwind on Chainlink 2 will be reviving back your Chinook. And this card is a kind of like a Veiler, basically, on your opponent's turn. So that's going to be interruption number 6. And of course, you still have your Volo, your Evil Storm Nightmare, your Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. So the normal summons will always lose out to Silverwing the Ascendant, and the special summons will lose out to Evil Storm Nightmare. And the more cards your opponent has in the graveyard, the higher attack and defense your monsters will have. So it's going to be even harder to jump over Evil Storm Nightmare. And your follow-up is always going to be OTK because you're summoning big boys in Blackwing. So that's it for combo number 1. Let's get right into combo number 2 now. Combo number 2, I have Suthri and Vata. This is actually not too bad. Not as good as combo number 1, but it's still really good. And also another thing about this combo is that you do not need to play bad cards like the Phantom Knight card. So this is literally a pure Blackwing combo. This is the beauty about this that I really wanted to explain, because obviously if you're playing bricks, you can always make more. You can always go for Kali Yuga and, you know, stuff like that, but it denaturalizes the deck to the point where it just removes all the appeal to the deck. You obviously would rather play another deck at this point, and I'm not a big fan of that. Even though you are not playing all those bricks, you can still end on a couple of interruptions. So Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, it interrupts by banishing a monster upon controls whenever they activate a monster effect. And you have double the double Book of Moon of Evil Storm Nightmare, as well as the Silverwing, the Ascendant, as well as the Chinook that you will be reviving back in your opponent's turn with the Black Feather Whirlwind. And if a monster would die, you can protect it with Black Feather Whirlwind. So your opponent can have Regeki or Lightning Storm, and it's all good because you can protect all of them by removing one counter from Blackwing Dragon. So that's also really, really nice with just 2 single cards, including 0 bricks, only Blackwing cards, no Phantom Knight bullshit. Alright, combo number 3, my hand doesn't really have any juice cards. It's Harmattan, Gale the Whirlwind, Zephyros, and Bora the Spear. Dark Ruler, no more going first. So obviously, it's just kind of like a random hand just to show you that every path leads to Rome. It's all good. So you can search the Suthri with the 4 Strix, and then go Wise Tricks to summon your Shamal, and then Synchro for Nothong. With this will allow you, of course, to get an extra normal summon. So normal summon the Suthri, and that's going to allow you to search the Twin Shadow, which is a very, very crucial interruption on your opponent's turn. And then bounce back the Bora to summon back the Zephyros, and you're going to be making the IP Masquerena now, as well as the Evil Storm Nightmare, and you're going to be setting that Twin Shadow. So that's still a really nice board because you can make Unicorn on your opponent's turn, you have the Twin Shadow for the Silverwind, and you have Evil Storm Nightmare with a very mediocre hand. And last but definitely not least, I wanted you guys to see what this deck could actually do in action against Tearlaments. So I'm drawing a random hand again of Zephyros, Bisted Magnamut, Shamal, and Vata the Knave with a random card. Going first against Tearlaments, with a bunch of monsters in hand. So yeah, Shamal is going to get me my Black Feather Whirlwind, normal summon the Zephyros, special summon the Vata, send the Suthri as well as the Chinook, and then revive back, well, recycle back rather, my Suthri with the Shamal, and revive back the Vata, make the Nothong, which is going to allow me to normal summon the Suthri again, and that allows me to search the Twin Shadow. This is always the priority. And this is really important here. I'm not going to be bouncing back the continuous spell, but rather the Suthri, because I want a follow for next turn. I'm going to be linking off my monsters for IP Masquerena, and I think you can already see it, but the Bisted monsters are not just interruptions for your opponent, but also extenders, so you can make rank 6s, because yeah, sure, you're always locked into darks, but if you can make Volo, it's actually really good. So now I can set 2 cards and phase search a Druid Worm. So I have another DD Crow in my hand, a follow for next turn, so I don't necessarily just do nothing on next turn. And I have a bunch of ways to interrupt with my opponent's graveyard. So the Volo can shuffle back a card, the Druid Worm can banish a card, and then I have the Twin Shadow to pop cards, Cosmic Cyclone, which could have been like any other card because it was just like random. And the Masquerena can actually make an Appaloosa for like 3, and it gains attack because the Volo boosted by 100 attack and defense for each card in the opponent's grave. So in other words, even if you only make Appaloosa for 3, it can be the equivalent of making Appaloosa for 4 or 5 because it gains attack. So in other words, it gains negates. That's really freaking awesome. Very nice combo to have with Volo. However, the Scream does make you lose 500 attack, and because of that, you do lose 1 negate with the Appaloosa. So that's also something that you have to keep into consideration. But yeah, I negated, I believe, twice with the Appaloosa, and I still have 17, something like that. Whatever. I mean, the card's freaking sick. And of course, my next turn is going to be more than enough to kill my opponent. Yeah, that's it for the combos. Let's get into the deck profile now. Alrighty, before we proceed into the deck profile, friendly reminder, of course, to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate you guys so much. And now let's get right into it. So 1 Druid Worm as well as triple Magnamut. This is the best way to counter Tearlaments by having a bunch of DD Crows and also cards that kind of get your money back because on the end phase, Magnamut is kind of like a Scarm. It allows you to search any dragon monster from the deck or graveyard to the hand, except itself, so you can search the copy of Druid Worm, which is the counterpart to the Magnamut. There's also another one, Saronir and Bisted Lubellion, but it's not like a hand shop. Saronir is, but it doesn't really do much. Magnamut can send a special summon monster your opponent controls to the grave whenever it is sent from the field to the grave, so that's actually really good at breaking boards as well. And it synergizes well with IP Masquerena when you make like Appaloosa on your opponent's turn. So these monsters are great, and they're also monsters that are level 6, so that you can make Volo on your own turn. So yeah, 4 copies of the Bisted monsters. We're also playing triple Simoon, which I really don't think I have to explain because this card is absolutely insane. Triple copies of Suthri, which is also like a semi one-card starter. It's really good when you have like something else like Vata, but on its own, it doesn't do that much. You can search the Vata and play a little bit, but obviously if you have like any other extender, at least you're going to be able to do something a little juicier. And double Chris, double Bora, these are just like level 4 extenders that are kind of blank. They don't really do much outside of special summoning themselves and allowing you to make either the Wise Tricks or the Evil Storm Nightmare or even the Force Tricks so that you can search the Suthri and play from there. One Zephyros, really good card at bouncing back your Whirlwind and even the Feather Whirlwind. One Shamal, this card could become bricky if you play way too many because you only really want to play one Feather Whirlwind, I want to say. One Oster, which also is bricky because we're not playing Allure of Darkness. I think Prosperity is better. I'm going to explain that in a moment. One Harmattan, obviously triple Vata, very good special summon monster. One of the best, I want to say, probably the best special summon monster, better than Chris and Bora because this truly has an effect on top of special summoning itself for free. And finally, one Chinook, which is a brick, and Orochi, which is not really a brick, but the thing about Orochi is that it's just a level 1 that doesn't do that much, and you can't really use it for synchro summoning outside of Hard Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. So it's only really good if you have access to Blackwing the Dragon. But it's a negate, the Orochi is still a card that gets you to a negate, and Chinook is also a card that is a negate, so that's the reason why they are decent one-ofs. Now for the spells, of course, triple Dark Ruler No More, as well as triple Prosperity. So the reason why I like it more than Allure is because in this deck, you really don't want to trade your Darks that are, you know, monsters that allow you to go into a play, into cards that don't necessarily allow you to go into a play. You can go Allure, draw 2, and then draw like 2, maybe like 2 Imperms, and then banish your only Blackwing monster that allow you to play, so it can make your hand worse. But Prosperity, if you banish 6, very high likelihood that you get into that Simoon, that Black Whirlwind, or that Suthri, or even that Vata, so that you can start playing the game. So you really need like quality cards instead of quantity. It's not really like you're playing a trap deck where quantity is what really matters. If you draw that specific Simoon, you're pretty much always winning the game. Or if you have maybe like 2 copies of Black Whirlwind, you can play around hand traps even better because you're always generating so much advantage that your opponent can't really keep up with you. And the rest of the deck doesn't really draw, so there's no conflicting there. One Cosmic Cyclone, so you don't deck out to Mystic Mine. Really only there because of that. One Call by the Grave, so you don't really lose to hand traps, although I will say, with Bisted monsters and Imperm being very popular, you can actually afford to not play Call by the Grave in your deck. I think it's actually getting worse and worse. One Feather Whirlwind, triple Black Whirlwind, of course, and one Mystic Mine, because your Prosperity can dig into that and kind of give you a little bit of time if you're really screwed. Again, this is a competitive deck list. You can probably go to regionals with this and expect to do well. Finally, triple Imperm and one Twin Shadow. So very clean deck list, no Phantom Knight bricks, no Raid Raptor. So yeah, like I said, it's a 40-card deck list and it runs very smoothly. Alright, so for the extra deck, I'm on one Full Armor Master, one Hard Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, one Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, one Silver Wind the Ascendant, which you're not even summoning on your own turn, but rather on your opponent's turn with the Twin Shadow, and that's an interruption. One Black Winged Dragon, which, you know, its effect kind of sucks, but with Orochi it makes Hot Red, so it's really good. One Nathong, this card is actually broken because you can extra normal summon for the Suthri, and that gets you a bunch of searches, and also it makes Black Whirlwind even more broken than it already is. One Volo, one Evil Storm Nightmare, one Force Tricks, Access Code, Appaloosa, Unicorn, Dark, Wise Tricks, and IP Masquerena. For the idea section, I actually tested Zonda, but it wasn't really good for me, so I cut it completely because it was a brick. If you draw it, it literally does nothing unless you can like discard it off of Simoon or something. I really just don't like this card at all. Simorg didn't really do anything outside of like summon itself for free and achieve nothing else after that. Obviously, if you're playing like the PK bricks, then it's nice because, you know, a free extender so that you can push for that Force Tricks, the Force Tricks combo with the Wise Tricks, get your rank up magic and potentially go for infinity, but you're usually locked under dark only, so you're gonna have to play a lot of cards in your extra deck which you might not even summon that often, and you're gonna lose a lot of games just because you draw a bunch of cards that are undesirable, like I said. One Strangulanius, Vayu, the Emblem of Honor, another brick that allows you to make some nice combos, but is it really needed? I don't think so. Now, Dragoon with Muddy Mud Dragon is a really nice combo. If you have a Black-Winged Dragon and you can make a level 6 Synchro, you can make the Muddy Mud Dragon and then fuse the Muddy as well as the Black-Winged Dragon to make Dragoon, and that's a negate, but it's a little bit of setup, and usually when you can make a level 6 Synchro, it's always going to be the Nothong, and that's going to be extra normal summoning the Suthri, and then you search for the Orochi and you make your Hot Red. So you're really just substituting one negate for another, and that's the reason why I didn't really like the combo with Dragoon. I was also considering Black-Winged Assault Dragon, but there was no good Synchro tuner that I wanted to play, so because of that, it's actually really hard to summon. Borreload Savage Dragon, a little hard to summon because I'm not really getting links in the grave usually. Obsidian Hogjaw, which forces me to play like an odd number tuner monster, like Gale the Whirlwind, that I wasn't a big fan of that. Boraz the Evil Wind, this card's actually pretty bad, I don't like it. Zeus, a little random. Trisbania, Super Poly. Goes and Match and Rivalry, good cards in the side deck. Goes and Match doesn't conflict with your deck at all because everything is dark. Rivalry makes you conflict with the Bisted monsters, so you do have to keep that in mind, but apart from that, literally no conflicting at all, so you could technically main deck Rivalry if you choose not to play the Bisted monsters. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my Blackwing combo video and deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like and a comment and a subscribe. I would really appreciate that a lot, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.